Welcome to another Guest Safety Officer short podcast. With me today, I have Kofi Josephs, a renowned basketball player, model, and advocate, and what's it called? What can I say? CEO of Why Not I Mental Health. Good morning, Kofi. How are you?
I'm doing all right, thank you. How are you doing? Can't complain.
I'm good, mate. Thanks for coming on the show, and we're going to discuss mental health. Can you just give the audience out there a quick bio about yourself?
So Kofi Josephs, professional basketball player for England and Great Britain. I play professionally overseas now in 8 countries. I'm also a full-time commercial model for like brands like Rolls-Royce, Flannels, Nike, the London Fashion Week, etc. I've got a mental health community interest company about destigmatizing mental health in the community. And I've also got a mental health clothing brand, which is also using fashion as a vehicle for destigmatizing mental health and inspiring and just creating that connection for like the taboo in that area.
That's great stuff. That leads me perfectly. That's my first question with you, Kofi. For your own experience and influence in mental health, I mean, what is what made you become an advocate in this field of mental health?
I've been through a lot. The mind has always been interesting to me. So I've got a psychology degree. So obviously I was interested in the way people think and stuff like that. But I feel like life experiences kind of really got me into the mental health aspect of life. So when I left the UK to live in America, I realized where I grew up in inner city Birmingham, a lot of the things I experienced there wasn't normal until I moved out of there. So I realized a lot of people had PTSD, a lot of people had trauma, and I'm talking about like us guys living in the inner city. I've got the same level of PTSD as some of my friends that I know have been to Afghanistan to the war. Do you know what I mean? Just from seeing people getting shot, stabbed, fights, people getting bottled, like that's not actually normal. So young people shouldn't be out here thinking that's normal. But you realize it isn't until you're in communities where drive-bys aren't happening. Do you know what I mean? So it really just made me question what the norm was. And then being a professional athlete, we're quite stressed. It's quite a high demand, stressful like type of situation, trying to perform at a very high level. So the stresses of that kind of made me like interested in why am I acting like this? Why am I feeling like this? And the same sort of happened in a different way when I became a model as well, because it wasn't still the same level of competition, but it was at the same time because there's only so many jobs. And I'm dealing with people who have got body dysmorphia, ADHD, all sorts of things. So I was just open to mental health in my life in loads of different aspects, which was quite interesting because I was experiencing it, but also witnessing it. And then from there, I just wanted to be a part of the change that I wanted to see.
That's brilliant, mate. I mean, you're right. I mean, it's not just young men, but it's women out there as well. I know you're doing a lot like that on that side, but you're right in those instances. It's just PTSD is affecting a lot of young people, a lot of men. And, why I've got you here is, you've spoken about it in the inner cities of Birmingham and in your sports and modelling career. But one of the points I brought you here is as well. I mean, how do you think that affects the security person in the UK and the resilience to this, and how, and what should they be doing to help themselves with this?
I think it's quite interesting because one of my cousins is a bouncer, and from being outside, you just know the kind of abuse that some security guards can go through and the people in the security industry. And just because you're at work doesn't also mean you're not a person. Do you know what I mean? Like you do take work home, whether you're like it's quite a high pressure situation. If you use, for example, at a club and there's a shooting and a stabbing, as a security person there, you can't necessarily flee like everyone else. You're that point of contact that needs to go in there and jump into the fire, if anything. Do you know what I mean? Which could also put your own life at danger. You're also having to protect other people. But if you've got family and friends outside of work, like there's just so much going on, which can definitely affect people. I don't think it's normal for some people in the security industry to necessarily witness certain things like helping a young kid who's on drugs. Next minute you find out he's died. Like, how do you not be affected by little stuff like that? Do you know what I mean? And with unhealed trauma, it can definitely drag on and affect people later on in life. So I feel like people in the security industry definitely need support as well, because for one, at the core of it, you're a person as well. Do you know what I mean? So counseling, therapy, a place to be able to talk, and especially for men, as we know, men don't really talk to each other. So I think having that level of openness to be able to discuss what you've witnessed, how you feel, what can be done, can definitely be the start of helping that situation, because unfortunately it's quite a high pressure situation which can't really be avoided. You can do your best, but when push comes to shove, you gotta get stuck in, because that's your role. So just managing that best you can, I feel like community counselling, stuff like that could definitely be a positive.
Well, that brings us to my next question to you, actually, because what was I going to say? What sort of strategies and sort of things you can put in place to help people maintain this? I mean, you're becoming an expert in this. I mean, as you just said, a lot of security personnel out there, they're dealing with stuff. They see stabbings, they still with violence. As you said, even my own team, we've dealt with deaths over the years, bits and pieces. I mean, what strategies can you put in place or advise the guys out on the ground or the people out on the ground to deal with this sort of stuff?
I think I'm an advocate for therapy. I'm an advocate for counselling. I think it's super important, because even therapists and counsellors have therapists and counsellors. Do you know what I mean? Like, these type of people are taking so much of other people's lives, which can affect them. They also need somewhere to let the air out their own balloon. So I feel like, because your field is such a high pressure situation, as I said, having somewhere to let the air out, but also it being people who understand within reason the type of field you're in. The last thing you need is a counsellor or a therapy or a person of contact who's shocked at every single thing that you're telling them, where you're like, oh, there was someone came in the club with an AK-47 and they were ready to go in there and murder people. The last thing you need is a counsellor who's shocked by that, because at that point, it's natural for you to be like, why am I even telling you this when you're shocked and you can't even fathom it yourself? I don't want to scare you and stress you out when I'm supposed to be coming here for you to help me. Do you know what I mean? But if it's the type of person who is like, okay, I understand. So what did you do then? How did you feel? Like, for me personally, every time I've gone to counselling or therapy, I've always felt better when a person understands somewhat about my lifestyle, just because it takes away that shock factor, and then I could move forward. So I feel like having people who are trained in your industry and understand your world is definitely one of the key things for having the correct counsellor and therapist.
So as can you tell us more about Why Not I and how it can help the security industry, and are you prepared to, help the guys and girls on the ground, or the people on the ground, I should say, to come in and can you facilitate them?
Yeah, for sure. So Why Not I, the CIC, obviously it's a community interest company. So it's basically in the interest of the community, different communities. So the security field, you guys are your own communities. And one of our USPs is being able to connect with people in different ways. It's pointless, as we said before, like having the wrong person trying to do the right thing. You need to have the right people doing the right thing. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like with the staff that we've got, for one, we understand within reason the world you guys come from and are in, but it's also about we understand people, because if you do like a group session or whatever, we have to understand that everyone's different. Just because everyone there works in the security field doesn't mean everyone is the same. So being able to tailor make it that everyone still feels comfortable, everyone still feels included, but everyone's still educated in a way that they can understand mental health is definitely the key. It's pointless just talking to people about mental health if they don't understand the connection to them and their lives. So yeah, we do sports, we do education, we do this, we do that, but being able to tailor make it for people in a specific field is what makes us so unique. So for example, understanding from a different standpoint what you guys might go through in terms of drug education, violence education, and also being able to have you guys feel so comfortable that everyone can discuss and talk about what they've faced, what they're going through, what they think can change, what they think needs to change. And then from there, you can actually start heading in the right direction, because as we know, the conversation is what starts things. So yeah, why not we come in, we educate, we discuss, we create community, and then we leave people better than we found them.
That's brilliant stuff, mate. That's brilliant. So I know we're coming to the end of this. So I just want to summarise it. I mean, looking at it from your experience, Why Not I is out there to help everybody from all communities, not just the security industry, not the basketball place, not for modelling, but for everybody out there. And you'll set up systems and you help people in place. How can they contact you, Kofi?
You can go to our website, which is whynoti.co.uk. So WHYNOTI.co.uk, and through there you can look for the different packages and services, and then liaise and discuss through email. So it can be a tailor-made service for you, and it's not the type of CIC where we get funding and then we just throw stuff out. We try and make everything like tailor-made for the people. So first off, we discuss what do you need, what's your issue, what's your problem, and then we try and find a way that we can be of service. If we're not the best people for you of service, then we can direct you to the people that are. But a lot of the time that we find a way to get the job done. So yeah, that's where you can find us. And also on Instagram, which is whynotIMH for mental health.
That is great stuff. And what I'll do is I'll get these links from you and I'll make sure I'll put them at the bottom of the YouTube channel for us so people can get out there. But you're happy when people contact you or your team, and generally let's spread the word. Kofi,
yeah, for sure.
Thank you very much for coming on and speaking to us today. Really appreciate you coming on and telling us about your experiences. I know it's been short. I'd love to do it a lot longer because you're quite an interesting character. Well, you're not quite. You are an interesting character. And I've known you from past because you've got big experiences in the world. And obviously, perhaps at a later date, we can have you on and chat about your whole experience of some of the stuff you've experienced growing up in Birmingham in the past. Would you be happy to come on again?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, for sure.
Because it will be a pleasure to have you on. Just to finalise everything, thanks to everybody for watching. The links to contact Kofi will be below. And if you're looking for more information or interested in supporting this channel, please, like and subscribe. And I'd like to say thanks again to Kofi. And thank you everyone for watching.